This is the Best or Worst podcast. And now, here are your hosts, Koji Stephen Sakai and M. Martin Mapoma.
Welcome. This is the Best or the Worst. I'm Koji.
And I am Martin.
And this is episode 28. And we are here still Zooming. So if the quality of sound isn't up to the normal standard, then you understand that. But the difference is you can see the whole video. You can see all of us. At least we all look good. Martin, how are you?
Running ragged. I'm in the middle of taking a test, a 3-day test. So I've been stressed out about that.
What kind of test are you taking?
I'm a speed and agility specialist. So
I thought you said you're taking a speed test. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I've been trying out different qualities of speed to see which one's good or which one's not good. But no. certified speed and agility specialist. So
well, as you guys can see, we do have a guest today, and this is a little bit different than normal. Hisonni Johnson from your Guyanese father and Afro-Polish mother.
Afro-Polish. Wow, that's cool. I'm from Zambia, Africa.
Yes, sir. I'm about to throw on a dashiki, man. Got family in the room. Yeah. And I just did my 23andMe, so I'm all about it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. Cool.
And usually, when people send me movies, most of the time the movies are terrible and I don't want to do anything to do with it. But this was different. Right away when I watched a little bit of it before I responded just to see if it was good, and it was awesome. That's why I responded, because usually it's like I can't even respond to these things because most of them are really, really bad. Yeah. And then I watched the whole thing, your whole movie, and it was amazing. So that's why I'm really excited. But we should talk a little bit about it. Well, first let's get to know you. Tell us a little bit about your story.
My story. Well, I've been a filmmaker since I was about 12 years old, and the way me and my friends bonded in our team, like so many filmmakers, we were football players and gymnasts, so we knew we could take bumps and do flips. So all of our movies just revolved around doing flips and beating each other up. So we just had a ball, man. And we would make the movies, and we would pool our money and rent theaters to show our movies in. And they kind of went viral in the 90s because they would put the name, one of our like demands as filmmakers where we would put the name of our film on the actual marquee, even though we were like 14, 15, 16 years old. And people would think it was just a movie that was in. So they would buy tickets to come see our movie, thinking it was like a real movie, and then see 16-year-olds playing the president and like being FBI agents, and they would like laugh their butts off. And and eventually somehow the local news caught word of it and would do a story on us, and they would do testimonials. And people would be like, it's the funniest movie you've ever seen, even though they were dramas. And it would like bring so many people in. Like so many people would just flood in. So we didn't even have to have jobs all year long because our movies would make that much money.
Wow, when was this?
This was between 1995 and 2002.
I mean, but where?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Milwaukee?
Yep. Yeah, I'm from Milwaukee, man.
No way.
It's pretty gangster there, yeah.
Wow. I did work at the Milwaukee Rep.
Oh, yeah, the theater. It's a big theater town. I did the BFA program at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee.
Okay.
So, yeah, got
out here?
I'm actually now in Las Vegas. I lived in LA until about 3 years ago, for almost 13 years in LA. And I left because I found myself writing a script about writing a script. And I was like, I am completely out of stories to tell. And I need to go to a place where I'm actually going to live a little bit. So me and my girlfriend are here in Vegas. We met so many wonderful people. We're having a blast. So, yeah, man.
Wow. When did you leave Milwaukee?
I left Milwaukee in 2005 or 2006. 2006.
Okay, because I actually did I did Moby Dick at the Milwaukee Rep.
What year?
2002.
You were definitely there while I was there.
Yeah, it's I always tell people that it was the last play I did because I lived in Chicago for 8 years, and when I did that show in Milwaukee, it was I always tell people it was the best 3 months of my life. It was pretty amazing for me. Yeah, I met a girl at the Rock Bottom Brewery. You know the Rock Bottom Brewery.
Yes, I do. Yes,
yeah,
I do.
It was a little tragic, but I don't know if you've heard any of our episodes, earlier ones, but I actually talked about the best or worst. It was my worst one of my worst moments there because one of my girlfriend at the time was a bartender at Rock Bottom Brewery, and she was killed.
Oh no!
It was actually big. It was big news in Milwaukee when it happened. It was really big news there. But anyway,
I'm lucky to have gotten out of Milwaukee because I grew up in a 53206, and you know that area code, don't you?
Wow.
I was dead center 53206. Koji, 53206 is an area code where more black men are arrested and incarcerated per capita than any other zip code in the country.
Wow. Yeah,
it was also
no
voted.
Joke. I got pulled over 3 times in that area, and because I was doing a play at the Rep, they just let me go. And they were like, what are you doing? Because I had Chicago plates. So then, it wasn't, local. But at the time, I was kind of driving a nice car, so I thought I was like buying drugs and stuff.
Yeah.
It was crazy because I went there. I drove there twice, and the last time I went there, one of the guys who was he was on the crew for the play, who was African American, was like, bro, he goes, do not go back over there because you're pressing your luck.
It's true.
Wow.
You're pressing your luck in so many different ways too, because you can get messed up by some of the kids there who are just.
Oh yeah, because I was driving a Saab, and
Yep, that's a pretty nice car. That was my first car too, but mine was a 1980 Saab.
Okay.
Hey, anywho, Milwaukee was voted the worst place to grow up black 2 years in a row by Forbes magazine.
Man, I believe it.
And it's the most segregated city in America for over 40 years.
That's crazy.
I say segregated, but I wouldn't say racist because I think it's not racist.
No, dude. There. You know what? I had my girlfriend was white, and it was, she took me up to meet her family in Minocqua in the UP, way up there. No, Milwaukee was great to me. I had no problem. I mean, there were a few idiots, but no. Like I said, it was the best 3 months of my life because Milwaukee was nothing like Chicago. Chicago was way worse to me.
Yeah, that's the real deal. Milwaukee will beat you up, but Chicago will kill you.
Anyway, I digress. So
all right, sorry about that, Koji. Uh-oh, we lost you. You're muted.
We lost Koji.
Sorry, yeah, I just wanted to make sure we talk about the movie, I want to make sure that we get movie time.
The movie. Oh, yeah, that's right.
The movie. So what's the movie called?
That's right. The movie is called Takeout Girl.
Takeout Girl. And let me read the description you had just so that everyone knows because I think it's awesome. Tara Wong delivers Chinese food for her mother's struggling restaurant located in the Low Bottoms, an infamous LA project, and everyone around her, including her unpredictable brother, are financially trapped in the crime and violence-ridden neighborhood. That is until Tara takes a job from the local drug kingpin, moving his product inside her takeout food boxes. With the cash rolling in, Tara intends to move the family restaurant to the suburbs and go clean. But after a series of tragic events, the dream that Tara built on a foundation of lies may crumble. So like I said, this, when I first watched the movie, when I first get approached of any movie, my first instinct is it's going to be terrible. But two things were great about this is one, it was actually awesome. And second is it featured Asian Americans. And I see here your notes that, that the film has an Asian American female and African American writers, and that it's very diverse, and the cast and crew are very diverse, obviously, which I really, really like.
That's cool.
And it was just a really, really amazing movie. Where did you get the idea from?
The lead actress came to me with the premise. She actually had a first draft written. Her name is Hetty Wong, Chinese American ancestry, and she is one of the most unique human beings I've ever met, and she's probably my favorite collaborator. I mean, this is her first time acting, and this is her first time ever writing anything, and she's by far my favorite person I've ever worked with. Like, she just has a raw ability to connect with people and to be collaborative, with joy in her heart. There's people who they concede. They don't really collaborate. They concede.
Yeah.
She's the other end of that. Like, she does it with joy in her heart. She wants things to be done right. I can't say enough about her. But the premise was hers.
And is this her life? Did she actually do this, or did she just come up with the idea?
There's a lot of it that is loosely based on her life, and then pieces of it loosely based on mine.
Got it.
So mashup.
Because because one of the first things, have you ever heard of Richard Aoki? Have you ever heard of that story? So he's this dude in the 1960s. He worked with the Panthers in Oakland, and he was the gun runner for them. Because the same thing,
I would need to know that story.
Me too. Wait, what?
That's why it's funny, because he even said, he's this Japanese American guy, and nobody's going to stop him, even with a car full of guns. Whereas any of the Panthers got in a car and tried to drive anywhere across the city, right? The first thing that's going to happen is he's going to get pulled over.
Yeah,
that is absolutely the premise of our film.
Yeah, the Aoki, though, it's a little shady, though, because books came out later saying that he was the informant, but I don't buy it. I don't believe it. But somebody in that crew was an informant. But to me, it's like, why would you put the guy who looks the most different as the informant? You know what I mean? It's like
target.
He's like the worst guy. But anyway,
too much. Yeah.
But I loved it. It was really, really awesome. And one of the things I really, really loved was the Stupid Young. How did you guys get Stupid Young to be involved in it?
That was our lead actress. She hustled. Like, she had a connection to him because I believe she was in one of his music videos or worked with him on something. And essentially it was her asking, and it was Young putting his money where his mouth is in terms of supporting the arts and Asian Americans in positions, being in the forefront of media.
Yeah.
He was down to help in any way he could because he knew what was at stake, and he wanted to be a part of moving that agenda forward.
Yeah.
And he was easy to work with. The line of communication was open and still is open. He's trying to help us with promotional stuff. He gave 2 songs to the film. Like, he would not accept funds for it. And that's Mando and Cold Nights.
Oh, and Mando. I love Mando.
Yeah. Mando's kind of the title track of this thing, and he's in it as a small role. But I think he thought it was funny that I was like, what you should play in this film? And he was like, what? And I was like, a cop. And he was like, so, considering probably one of the worst things that's ever happened to him is going to jail.
Yeah.
So, but it's almost like a rite of passage for rappers to play law enforcement officers in major movies to make their transition.
Exactly. Well,
he did great though, didn't he?
No, he was awesome. I mean, I'm a huge fan. I've been wanting to figure out a way to work with him. So maybe you and I can talk later about that.
Yep.
But let's get into it. So, Martin, what do you feel like? Would you rather hear the best moment of making this movie or the worst moment of making this movie? What's your instinct on that?
You know what? As an actor, there's tons of bad moments in making movies. I got to go with the best.
Okay, you want to hear the best? Okay, let's go with the best.
Yeah, because Hisonni's an independent filmmaker. And am I wrong when I say that?
You are absolutely right. You are more right than you know, sir.
Yeah. Oh, well, believe me. Yeah, because I used to have a film company a long time ago. Anyway, I want to hear the best moment because I'm sure you could come up with a plethora of bad moments, but best moments are so they're so drive. It's just a driving force in independent filmmaking that I always like to hear about catalysts that are a great step forward in movie making. So I want to hear the best. Koji?
Yeah, I mean, I'm good. I mean, yeah, terrible moment. Like every moment on a film set, I believe is terrible. I'm just kidding. I always say there's 2 kinds of people, right, on a set. There's 2 kinds of creators. One is a creator who loves being on set, and they just like that's what they live and die for. And then there's the other kind of creator that wants to be nowhere near set. And I'm the second. I don't want to be anywhere near the set. Like also like as a producer, I mean, my role is different, right? So my role as a producer is my mentor taught me that if I'm on set, it's going to get more expensive. So, because filmmakers, I mean, the crew will somehow make it happen if I'm not there. But if I'm there, they're like, we need this, we need that, we need to go get more equipment, we need to get more food. Somehow, if my office is a block away and they can't get a hold of me, they'll make it work somehow. Somehow, some way, they'll. I mean, it's on the low budgets. I'm talking about the big budget stuff, but on the low budget stuff, it's like, yeah, like we'll make it work somehow. Push her, So that's why I think that I'd love to hear the best moment. So, what is your best moment of making this movie?
Well, first, there were way more best moments than horror stories on this film. Like time passed really fast because we laughed a lot. We laughed through pre-production, we laughed through production, and we really laughed a lot through post. So like, I have so many wonderful moments. The moments that stand out to me the most is there. I got to give two because they're similar. It was Hetty Wong coming to me with a little bit of not just a script and a premise, but she actually helped produce the film with her family's money too. Like she helped, like we went kind of in together on this, and she sacrificed so much. And then she saw the first cut of the film and she kept crying because she was so happy. Filmmaking is very much about trust for me. And to see that at one point she didn't know me at all when we started this. And she really was so collaborative and so trusting of me. And then to see that circle kind of connect at the end where it was like I did right by her, so right by her that she had a film that was way better than what she ever anticipated, creating. To see that I'd done the job so thoroughly that she was overwhelmed by happiness, that was probably one of the happiest moments. And then recently, when we premiered the film at Cinequest, I had a similar moment where I've been working with Hetty Wong for 3 years to make this project work now. And you think you know a person, but then you get onto the red carpet, and I saw her smile in ways I didn't know her face could move that fucking way. Sorry, I mean, I shouldn't curse, but like, I didn't know she could move. I saw smiles and expressions from her that articulated happiness again in such a way where like, how much more rewarding can that be? You know what I mean? A person went out on a limb, trusted you, not just with their hopes and dreams, but like a piece of savings from like her mom, and you know what I mean, like, and you made good on that. You made beyond good on that, like, and I was able to take a picture of that moment and immortalize it and show her, because I don't think she knew her face could make that expression either, and I just have that moment forever, and it set a benchmark for me with every project I make. If I strive to make my crew and my cast and my producers and my writers, Koji, as happy as she is in that photo, I think I'm going to do okay. Does that count?
Wow. that was
great.
That was
That's
awesome.
great.
That was really awesome.
That really was.
So she's never acted before this moment, or she's never been in a feature before this moment?
She's never acted really before.
Wow.
Because she has that, I mean, Asians in media. She's been in a lot of music videos and sketches, but she's always been like background. People don't realize what they have when she's on set, because you saw the film. She can be, her natural personality shifts way more toward Tara than what her beautiful face and body would give you the impression she's capable of. Yeah. And that was the juxtaposition when I met her. She looked gorgeous, and she has the face of a model and a body of like a pinup girl from, like, you know what I mean? Like a golden age pinup girl. Yet when I met her, the first thing, "So, bro, how you doing? Like, yo, I wanna talk with you about this movie." And her voice was lower and register. So like, I'm sitting there like, when are you gonna drop this shit and like talk to me and like the real deal? And as that facade, well, it wasn't a facade. As I realized it wasn't a facade, I was like, oh, I can definitely make a movie about her. I can make a movie about playing horseshoes with her, and it will be entertaining because no one's ever seen her before.
Yeah, she was very natural. It felt that's why I thought for a long time that this was literally her life. And but as you know, like a person playing themselves is actually hard to make it look real and natural.
Absolutely.
And the fact that you were able to pull that out from her, I mean, I think that's really, really amazing. And so so you said she was really happy when she saw the first cut. What did she think of as it kept going along? Did she like it better, or what was her?
Yes. We talk regularly. I'm a bit of an overcommunicator when it comes to, because I want to make sure I do my job well, and I want to make sure people know that I'm not just going to go AWOL and stuff. So we talk quite a bit, and we're really great friends. I realized that I had over-delivered with our, because we had like a no budget. This is very, 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 very low, closer to like the budget you spoke about earlier, Koji. And she hadn't anticipated us she thought we were just going to make a movie. The goal was to get a movie done. She didn't realize I was like, no, I'm going to make a real, like, watchable, borderline limited theatrical release type of film. That was my goal. And watching it register that we had exceeded that goal and we were making something special was really, really cool, because she was also realizing, holy shit, I'm in the front of this. Like, my face is making this work. And again, just that feeling of having done your job really well, that was the majority of this process, is realizing that over-delivered. And that, it's just a lot of fun.
Great. Martin, do you have any questions or thoughts?
Well, I really have to see this movie now. No, because the way you describe her, I mean, she sounds like a total angel. Like she has that like it factor, And when you talk about her,
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
That's pretty cool. And the one thing for me is, Koji did some of the movie. When Koji likes something, because Koji's right, he hates everything. So that says a lot, about the movie.
Yeah.
And I apologize that I didn't watch it in advance, but I really got to watch it now. I've been like stressed out for the last week and a half trying to get everything done. But still, it sounds fascinating. It really, really does.
And one of the things that I could tell that from your conversations and just from watching the movie itself, that everyone was on the same path, and I could feel the energy from the movie. Like as a filmmaker, that when like even the makeup person giving a bad attitude about things could ruin the whole movie. And as a director's job, your job is to make sure everyone's on the same page, and it sounds like everyone's having fun, and you could really feel that energy. And even though obviously the story's not a fun story, like a comedy or something, but but you could feel that that everyone's pulling in the same direction. And I think that's a testament to your talent and the quality of the movie too, frankly. And that, and kind of that, the fact that you chose, that those two moments as your best moment is a real indicator, I think, of this kind of movie and the kind of filmmaker you are. So, congratulations. I think this is a really, really amazing movie.
Yeah, it's a really good point, because, a lot of, as an actor, you very rarely hear filmmakers and directors talk about keeping their people happy. They keep their star happy, they keep their, their co-stars happy, but that's usually where the buck stops. But the fact that you wanted everyone to be happy and content on the set, is very rare to see, in a director or a producer. And so that just makes it sound even much more fascinating, because that's not the issue. That's one thing with Hollywood that people will always tell you. Being on the same page is one thing. Keeping everybody else happy, that's not really a high priority. They don't really care about that. And that's usually where I feel that a lot of movies falter, in this industry.
It's my policy. It's kind of a hardline policy. I've said it. My DP, Alberto Triana, and I worked very, very closely on this. It was mostly him and I. We shot 15 days with a 7-man crew and 25 more days just Alberto, I, and my producer MJ, and of course the actors. But the mantra was people over product. People over product. And when it comes to Hollywood, that I can see why that would scare producers. So what they don't realize is that concept is kind of, it's like a snake eating its tail, in a sense. because people over product, the product is amazing because they put everything they can into the product because they love you. They work for you, you know, and they don't want to let you down because you care about them. It's one of those things that's just like almost like self-perpetuating, you know. It's movement that'll never stop. And if you guys will afford me a minute, I want to thank the both of you. This project is, in my opinion, it's the most amazing experience of my life thus far, and 98% positive. And getting this film out there, getting the word of mouth out there has been strange, because I'm Black and she's Asian. And with the coronavirus coming up, everything in the film is kind of amplified, not just the story itself, but like the narrative around it and how important it is and whatnot. But you would be shocked at how not supportive Blacks and Asians have been in media toward like even hearing out and independent. Because, you know, I didn't get chosen for South by Southwest. You know, I don't hit a lot of the buzzwords that are really important for businesses right now. Like, I'm not female, I'm not a woman of color, I'm not trans, I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not bi. And those things are becoming a priority. And then the film itself, at first glance, like even with niche festivals, can we submit it to black niche festivals when it has a primarily Asian cast? Can we submit it to Asian American film festivals when you may have to give an award to a Black director in one of the few events that are set aside for Asian Americans to thrive? Our road has been incredibly difficult, and it takes forward thinking and a very strong stance on true diversity to take a step forward and put this film on the forefront. And I can't thank you enough for that.
Yeah, and to that point, you know, one of the things my mentor talked to me a lot about was people of color like us. When we want to make independent movies or stories, the kinds of stories we usually tell are our people and white people, because diversity usually means we want to be included in the white world. So we tend to forget like all the other groups of color, you know. So I think that's what's awesome about this too, is that it's not just like African Americans and African Americans trying to be with white people only, because there's a whole world of color outside of that. And just like, you know, when I try to make an Asian American movie, there has to be other people. It's not just me trying to knock on the door of white people and be like, let us in. It's like we're all in the same boat. Yeah. So we need to be, you know, like it's okay to have like an African American even if it's not a big part of the story, at least there's diversity and color outside of just Asians in my movies or my stories, right?
That was one of the coolest things, is that a Black man and an Asian woman could melt their stories together so seamlessly. Mm-hmm. Like, it's based on Hetty's life, but there are moments between me and my mother that are verbatim in this movie. And you can't tell. As a matter of fact, I think true originality nowadays, because there's no stories that haven't been, you know, every story's been told. The only original spin we're going to put on that story, on those stories, is going to be when we put members of each tribe in a room and make them combine their perspectives. And I think that's why the film is so unique, and it catches people off guard. And you're right. I really loved walking our lead character Tara through everybody else's world a little bit and meeting so many other people. It's a truly unique cinematic experience for me.
Fascinating.
So how can people find out more about the movie, and how can people stay in touch with you and get to know what you're working on?
You can follow me on Instagram at Hisonni, and on Twitter it's Hisonni J, and that's spelled Hisonni. You could follow our lead actress Hetty Wong on Instagram at Juliet Must Die is her handle. The film itself is screening at the Ashland Independent Film Festival, and I couldn't be more proud of that. Pretty soon here, I can't remember the exact dates, but if you go to there to see it, they're doing a virtual film festival. And we have gotten into almost 10 film festivals now. Well, we're 10 more film festivals.
You should get
and
into
I can't
more.
announce them because they won't let me. What'd you say?
You should get into more. From everything I'm hearing, you should be getting into a lot more.
We're hoping
it's interesting.
You should get. I mean,
we
ultimately,
got two really big ones.
Oh, good.
That's good.
And one is in LA, Koji. So pretty soon in August, we're going to be in LA. We got CineQuest again because we screened one time and then it got postponed. So we have the Bay Area at least once more in August. LA, end of LA, I can't say what film festival, but at the end of August. New York, at a major film festival in New York in October.
That's good.
And yeah, so it's starting to do that tour. I'm hoping I'm going to get into the Milwaukee Film Festival too, but who knows?
You want to go back home, prodigal son?
I would love, man, so much of this film, even though it takes place in LA, it's the inner city of Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they give me a shot, you know?
Well,
Awesome. And definitely, I'm confident you'll get distribution, but obviously if you need any help, I offered this before, but I also offer any kind of help you need in distribution or any kind of thing. I'd be happy to help in any way I can, because I do believe in this movie. And thank you so much for coming on. Thank you very much for the time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And definitely, everyone watch this movie. If you get a chance to watch this movie, I can't highly recommend it more. And I mean that a lot. I try not to be effusive with movies unless it's actually something I really enjoyed. All right. Thank you guys. Please rate, review, subscribe to our podcast.
Yes, please.
This is a labor of love for us. So this is something that we do on our own. So please, for us to talk to great people like this, I think it's important for you guys to support us. So thank you. Find us on all the social media platforms. We are Best or Worst Pod. And thank you guys. Bye, guys.
Thank you, Sonny.
My hand's all messed up.
Thank you.
Later.